So, y'all ready to y'all jumping it off now, right?
Yes, he's getting it started right now.
We
All
about
right,
to jump it off right now.
sounds good.
All right. And we are live. Peace, 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 peace. I'm Black Power Family. Welcome to another episode of Do Knowledge Radio, place where knowledge is born. It's your host, Knowledge One a Lot. And we got this Brick City collaboration. You know what I'm saying? We got this BCC going on. We
All
got
right.
Hip Hop Psycho in the building. And we got the guest, the honor in the building. You understand what I'm saying? Like, this is the epitome of the choice is yours. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you know, like we had everything going on. The parties jumping. You see what I'm saying? We got 30 years of the game in the game of experience, indie, solo, all kind of stuff going on. You see what I'm saying? We got the black sheep. You understand what I'm saying?
No doubt.
Not the
Love is
black
love.
sheep in the family. You understand what I'm saying? That we
All right.
got the black sheep in the building right here live. Shout out to you, King Dres. Welcome to the show, fam. What's going
Thanks
on
for
with
having
you,
me,
black
family.
man?
Love is love. Everything's good. Just
I
maintaining,
appreciate it.
how we all holding it down right now.
Yeah,
Word.
definitely. You maintaining throughout all this COVID
Yeah,
stuff and everything, right?
no doubt, no doubt. Doing what we got to do.
True. Rough times and everything.
No doubt.
Yeah. For the people out here that might not be familiar, let's get a backdrop and everything of who you are and how you got started in hip hop and everything else. So we can start for the beginning.
I mean, essentially, like me from the likes of being a member of the Native Tongue. I'm from the group Black Sheep. Black Sheep, Native Tongue. Native Tongue being De La Soul Tribe, Jungle Brothers, Moni Love, Queen Latifah, Chi Ali, and such. Been around for a while at this point. You know what I'm saying? Looking at almost a solid 30 in, right? 91 first album came out. So there we go. Just to say, essentially still doing it, going hard. I got a new project that's about to be released probably by the end of the summer, by entitled D&D. D&D stands for Dilla and Dres. It's a sanctioned project that I'll be releasing, totally composed of beats by Dilla. I was fortunate enough to get blessings from Ma Dukes, his moms, you know what I'm saying? And to kind of go through a bunch of personal folders of Dilla's and kind of just put a project together. And about 3/4 done with that. And it's pretty amazing. I look forward to releasing it. And between the first and the end, I just been kind of doing my own thing. I have my own independent label. Cats can check me out at poolofgenius.com. Pool of Genius, POOLOFGENIUS, poolofgenius.com. And I release independent projects extensively. There's quite a few that you kind of pick up online as merch and what have you. And I'm just been doing my own thing, like very, very lucky dude that I've made a life out of being an MC, you know.
Yeah, that's what's up. And so what actually made you decide to get into the hip hop game? Like, what first turned you on to it? What made you?
Um, I think essentially, like it just spoke to me as a youngster, teenager, what have you. Like, even coming up, like both my parents have sung in bands at different points in their lives, so music was always instrumental. I played trumpet in a marching band in high school, and I was in various choirs. I'd won talent shows singing before hip hop even existed. You know what I'm saying? So like even to see hip hop become to see the potential in it, and to see it eventually become to the point that brothers step up on the stage of the Oscars, the Academy, and the Tonys, all behind something that might be hip hop based is insane. It's beautiful. Um, but as far as what spoke to me in my youth, what I'm saying, like it was hip hop. Like what I'm saying, like it was beat driven. It was street. It was smart. It spoke to the times, and even allowed us to be bigger than we were. You know what I'm saying? So like I was all in. You know what I'm saying? It could be anything that we wanted it to be, and it still can. You know what I'm saying? Like it's unfortunate that cats don't kind of take it upon themselves to just be dope. You know what I'm saying? Like that's one of the things that just would be so amazing, especially right now. You know, like dope doesn't equate to I think where we came from, you know what I'm saying? But that doesn't mean that it's over. It's still evolving. It's still our lifetime, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm living with it as such, and I'm trying to push it forward as such at the same time. You know, it is
True,
what it is. Right.
true. And you know, you mentioned that you was down with Native Tongue, very prevalent rap. I guess I call it a rap click at the time or whatever, where a collection of artists all got together, and I always point to Native Tongue as the conscious era of hip hop, right? Like this was like we talking like the early '90s and late '80s, where conscious hip hop really was on top of his game. It actually was running hip hop at that time, and you guys was a very big part of that. You want to touch on that era as a whole, and let's start with how did you even get affiliated with Native Tongue? How did that even come about?
Well, it was kind of dope. The backstory is kind of cool. Whereas my senior year in high school, I was in this town in North Carolina. I'm from New York, but I went to high school in North Carolina. So I'm in this little town my senior year, and I had met this cat named Stan that had equipment in his room and a cool mom. You know what I'm saying? Like he had turntables, mics, records. You know what I'm saying? And literally every day after school, I was over Stan's crib. You know what I'm saying? Like we could smoke our little weed, drink our little 40s, and cut and rhyme all day and night. You know what I'm saying? Like that was just the hangout. So there was a young cat. You know what I'm saying? Shorty doo-wop, which was long. He used to come through after school, this and the other, get up with us. He was like our little man, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, son, he was for real, but he was dope, didn't drink, didn't smoke, you know what I'm saying? So he was just there strictly on the strength of Stan had equipment, you know what I'm saying? This is where he came. We was like his older brothers. He loved just being around, and he was dope. Long story short, that year, Sparky D versus the Real Roxanne was a thing that was getting promoted and pushed as a show, and it was going to be at the arena in Raleigh. So of course we like, oh, we gotta make our way. You know what I'm saying? We head out there. We had a little juice with this cat named Craze. Craze had a little pull with the show at the arena. So we get long on stage to cut for the crowd before the show starts. Mind you, he's so short that he has to stand on milk crates just so he could stand above the turntables. But he's dumb nice. And so Red Alert peeps him. Red starts talking to him and is like, he's like, yo, I'm from New York, but I live down here, but I'm in New York every summer. So long story short, Red gives him his number. Every summer after that, Long will come up and hang out with Red. He literally, met Jungle Brothers when they was working on their first album. So like that's like little brother, you know what I'm saying? Like they love him to death. And so when me and Long wound up bumping heads years later, and it wasn't really for me to kind of take him around my way, I kind of started meeting cats that he was kind of moving with, you know what I'm saying? And those were Red, the Natives, you know what I'm saying? He's introducing me to who will be our first manager, Chris Lighty, to, you know what I'm saying? We're in the studio in Calliope while cats are making their first projects. Tribe didn't even have an album out yet, you know what I'm saying? So it was kind of cool. And, like, we had the background where we used to cut and rhyme every single day just because, you know what I'm saying? Like we wasn't even trying to make a record. There was no record to make in North Carolina. So we was nice for no reason. And Cats kind of peeped it, you know what I'm saying? We was able to put our own demo together. Cats really dug it, made some calls on our behalf, set up some meetings, and the rest is history.
Yeah, yeah. Like I was saying, legendary collective of talent. Like I said, at that time, again, I consider that the conscious era of hip hop, and it was running things everywhere you look. De La Soul, Jungle Brothers, Black Sheep.
It was a time. It was a time as well that and to harp on that point that DJs were allowed to be DJs as well. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
One of the dopest things about DJs when we was coming up was their ability to break records, introduce you to new shit. You know what I'm saying? Like that doesn't exist really with the syndication and it being accepted that there's a playlist that we're not going to veer from, that stifled the creativity in hip hop. You know what I'm saying? So as much as we're looking for something to be dope, we also need the backbone of the DJ to be able to play something that's dope. You know what I'm saying? So like it's a sad state of affairs all around right now. You know what I'm saying? And like, it's not cool that someone who might not even necessarily understand our culture to the degree that the roots from which it springs, that to dictate what everyone's going to play from it. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that DJs aren't given the ability to create the next trend, to introduce you to something that's new and dope. You know what I'm saying? Like we've politicized, you know what I'm saying? This is politics. We've made, hip hop a political statement, and that shit is whack. You know what I'm saying? For real. Like it's more than just the music that we're hearing. It's also the ability to play something that's dope.
Facts. That's music in my ears. You just said that because you just reiterated all the points I make. What's wrong with today's hip hop opposed to what was going on back then. Creative control is out the window. Like me and Knowledge was just building on this right before you came up, and we were just talking about the old days with Chuck Chill Out, Mr. Magic, and Marley Marl, and BLS and Kiss and all them, Red Alert, and everybody on the weekend.
It was a badge for a cat to be able to be like, yo, I played that before anybody did. You know what I'm saying? Like, like if for you to be able to peep out the next dopeness, you know what I'm saying? Like we've taken that out of the DJ's hands, and we now allow a program director to dictate what's real. And you gotta be valid to validate something. You know what I'm saying? Like we just allowing anybody to tell us what it is, and that ain't cool.
I agree. Now that you want to harp in on that, because like I was saying, we were just building on that. I know you got opinion.
Yeah, I mean, y'all really set the stage in regards to showing the kind of art form and lyricism standard that was necessary in a shift, because there was party records before, and then it was kind of like hip hop was finding itself. But y'all brought another angle of not just lyricism, y'all brought an art form to it. You understand what I'm saying? Like y'all brought an art form, y'all brought another style. Like that other stuff that they was wearing beforehand, y'all brought another style. You see what I'm saying? So in this consciousness thought form, y'all made, lyrics, lyrical content, and knowledge seem palatable. You see what I'm saying? So all the way through all of that. So it wasn't preachy. It was still party. It was something for everybody. You see what I'm saying? So y'all created like a smorgasbord, and whatever you was able to take from it, whatever you gravitated to, that became your hip hop style. You see what I'm saying? We got people nowadays, like people, they weren't even born yet. You got hip hop purists that weren't even born yet when you came out. You see what I'm saying? So you like now 91, you like, my first album came out in 91, and cats was born in 2000, and they're 20. You understand what I'm saying? So there's a time for where they don't even have a reference, but it still doesn't stop them from
real talk.
Actually doing the knowledge.
That's how you separate. That's how you can kind of separate some of the cats that are really about the culture. You know what I'm saying? Because you hit it right on the head. A cat might have been born in 2000, and it's not his fault. Like that's not his fault. You know what I'm saying? Like, we should never fault the kid for being born in 2000. You know what I'm saying? But the sharper kid was born in 2000 and could tell you about the native tongue. You know what I'm saying? Like the sharper, you know what I'm saying? Like that's just the passionate kid. You know what I'm saying? Like that, and they exist. You know what I'm saying? They out there. You know what I'm saying? Like they're just the passionate kid, and I think it's for us to be able to differentiate the two kids, and at the end of the day to realize they kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if anything, like, one is going to take a shorter curve than the other. You know what I'm saying? But both of them are worthy of having an understanding. Like, we can't get mad at kids for being kids, which we do sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, like, it's a different world when we was young, because like, it was like we lived for it. This shit lives amongst them. You know what I'm saying? Like
That's kind of true. Yeah,
they not even into it to the degree of, other than their
that's a
playlist.
very good point.
They not even listening to an album. They create playlists. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's as the music, as something's going to hit them. You know what I'm saying? We just got to keep creating the things that create feelings, that make them want to sit down, that make them want to listen to it, that make them want to go back to become a sharp kid, like the kid that we're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like it's there. We just got to kind of, we can't tell them what to see, but we got to bring them to the water. You know what I'm saying?
True.
And that's the name of that game. We can't get mad at them for not knowing where the water's at. They don't know the terrain. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it can be frustrating, especially when they caking off. Kids is making crazy paper and not knowing where the water's at. You know what I'm saying? So that could be frustrating. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. And before they deplete themselves, let's show them where the water's at. And, hopefully, they can, we give them the opportunity to become who they should be. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times we take that away too. You know what I'm saying? Like we all started somewhere, and this might be where they starting, but that don't mean that's where they're going to end up. Let's give them a chance to become who they supposed to be, before we break them down, and that's in most cases. Everybody's not worthy of that, but when it's real, let's keep it real with those. You know what I'm saying? That is, that can be what we need them to be. Like, there's cats out there that's dope. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, we gotta nurture our own. At this point, we gotta stop, just being so blasé with what it is. You know what I'm saying? Because it's important, and we seeing how important it is every day as it gets away from us. You know what I'm saying? So let's keep it close to home. You know what I'm saying? Let's make it what it's supposed to be, and let's reap the benefits of it for damn sure. Word up.
True.
We
True.
did this. Word up.
Yeah.
And especially like what y'all doing, I salute you. Like, like y'all are documenting, y'all are talking to, y'all are creating content. You know what I'm saying? Y'all are pushing y'all events in the culture. You know what I'm saying? Y'all are embodying, a moment in time. And it's, for people to discover. It's for people to learn from. It wouldn't happen if it wasn't there. So, big salute.
Thanks. I appreciate that. And yes, you brought up excellent point about some of the kids of the day just don't have the same passion that we may have because the music comes so easy to them, and it's kind of so watered down and oversaturated now.
The bar's on the floor. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you ain't gotta do nothing to get over the bar, you know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. It's we gotta raise the bar. You know what I'm saying? We gotta take some of this back and stop accepting some of the things that we're accepting as music. You know what I'm saying? And from people that, could give a fuck about, it's almost like, like our vote. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would we vote for somebody that don't give a fuck about us? We gotta stop, you know what I'm saying, becoming so attached to things that have nothing to do with our well-being. And I say that all around the board, man.
Right.
Real, bro. All right.
Yeah, that's real. And so to your first record deal, how did that come around? Like, and who did you get signed to? And how was it like making your first album?
It was dope. We got signed to Mercury Records. We signed to Mercury Records. We had a few different offers, you know what I'm saying, on the table. But Mercury, they kind of was like a rock label. And but they had James Brown's catalog. Who was interested in being able to go through James Brown's catalog. They had promised us be able to have access to his masters and stuff like that. Was cool. It was a big company which will offer us some leverages that we thought a small one might not. So, but and there was pros and cons on both sides, you know what I'm saying? But just to say, so we was with Mercury, which was a subsidy of Polygram. Now, one of the things you wind up learning, like when you're on a major label, Polygram was owned by Philips Light. So at the end of the day, you know, like you learn stuff like, you know, like they don't care about your product to the point that it's either making them a profit or it's not. Because at the end of the day, Philips Light don't give a fuck about anything that's going on the roster of the record company if it's not making profit. You know what I'm saying? Like it you know, like Philips Light was the bottom line. If they the real boss of the company, you know what I'm saying? Everybody is just, you know, like they're a wing that can be closed. So Philips Light never gave a fuck about, you know what I'm saying, the music aspect of the company that they own, Polygram. You know what I'm saying? It was either we making money with it or we not. And when it came time for them to make a profit, they sold it to Universal. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, like the big business, a lot of times it's like, you know, like shit, we so caught up in making this music thing, but there's a whole agenda that's even above our heads.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like it's a big world out here, you know what I'm saying? And being signed to a major label was definitely an introduction to how big business really can be big.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, at that time, you know, you're hungry. You just want to be heard. You just want to
question.
Yeah. You know, like, so, you know, it's like, you know, you just, and that people flash that money is like, I'm on it. You know what I'm saying? But
no doubt.
But it's you know, they know that people are young and they're going to be a little bit ignorant to how the game actually is until it's probably too late. Like they kind of bank on that. You know, the music industry can be
it's a wicked motherfucker for real. And at the time as well, hip hop wasn't as proven as it is today. Hip hop wasn't the multi-billion-dollar industry that it is now. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, like they were, in I guess their opinion, investing somewhat accordingly. They always jerking you, but at the end of the day, you know, they wasn't trying to give us big paper until they saw big paper. You know what I'm saying? And,
right.
You know, that's how it goes.
Now, y'all had one of the biggest club bangers of that era, which was The Choice Is Yours. And I'm gonna tell you, from a person that from a young man that was around at that era, every time that song came on in a club, a party, whatever, and the engine number 9 part came on, the entire crowd on cue started working their way down, just waiting for a part. Then next thing you know, they just jumped up and almost a riot almost starts when the music comes back on. Like it never failed, you know, right on cue. So yeah, how did y'all come about that, making that song? And, you know, that song still heavily requested with you and this and third?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, it's a big song. Like to this day, you know, like I think it's just on the Jordan documentary. It was in Spider-Verse, animated Spider-Man cartoon. You know, like to this day, it gets a lot of love. You know, very grateful for The Choice Is Yours. You know what I'm saying? It's one of the songs that's just been there with the culture, and you know, it's definitely, you know, appreciated and loved. You know, and I'm definitely grateful, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, you know, like I love performing it, which I do. You know, I perform all over the world to this day. So, you know, like that's always a part of what I'm doing is, you know, as well as introducing some new, you know, going through the old, you know, and it's definitely a nostalgic record. People have good, fond memories to it and what have you.
Definitely. And I forgot they did play it in the Jordan documentary. You're absolutely right. Yeah, that must have been a good feeling to see that.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I mean, you know, like I said, like it always pops up every few years. You know, like it winds up finding its way to something, from a, you know, Kia commercial to you know, somebody's movie or what have you. It's definitely been a blessing.
Wow. Definitely. So did I hear correctly? Correct me if I'm wrong. Is Q-Tip related to you?
Nah, not at all. Nah.
Oh, okay. That was a rumor I heard back in the day. I wasn't sure if it was true, so I figured I asked.
It's all up, you know.
Yeah, but you still speak to the all the native tongue or whatever?
Yeah, pretty much. You know, like we don't speak on the daily, but you know, and some of us speak more than others, but you know, we all just a phone call away.
Okay, that's what's up. Now that you wanted to get back in.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to talk about favorite performances, favorite places to perform. I just wanted to share a memory real quick. You know what I'm saying? Like just to everybody that's listening, we used to run home to listen to y'all. You see what I'm saying? Video music box, and we used to stay up on Sunday. You know
Yes.
what I'm saying? And we messed around it and seeing y'all on in living color. That shit was everything.
All right.
You understand what I'm saying? That shit was everything. So, if you could share kind of that story, that would do my heart some good to know how that kind of
Okay.
went down for y'all performing on there. And then some of your favorite places to perform, across
Um,
the world.
man, yeah, I've been fortunate enough to perform all over the world, for intimate situations to big giant festivals. You know what I'm saying? Like the Jazz Cafe in London is a beautiful spot, nice, intimate, but established and old and really cool, good sound. Um, Performing on the Living Color was definitely, you know, one of the highlights. That's definitely salute. Keenan, what the Wayans brothers, Keenan and Damon. You know what I'm saying? Like they were brilliant in that thing, and they gave light to a lot of young talent. You know what I'm saying? A lot of cats kind of bounced off of that to major careers. Um, and I got a chance to rock it twice. I think once with Show and AG. I think we did a Black Sheep once, and you know, that Arsenio Hall, you know what I'm saying, was like, catapults for us. Essentially, like that was us coming into your crib, and like I remember the first time I heard a beat on television, let alone, hip hop on your television in your house. You know what I'm saying? So that was huge as far as just advancing the culture, showing that, like, yo, we don't have to have a band to rock, your place and this, that, and the other. Like, we could do it just, with a beat and, and an MC and a mic, you know what I'm saying? And, we was able to kind of like just do what we do. And, it was perfect timing, and they believed in the music like we did. You know what I'm saying? Like for anyone put hip hop on their show, like they saw the power of what was coming. You know what I'm saying? And they and they applauded it, and I was very grateful, even to this day. You know what I'm saying? That those were major shows, and we were the first hip hop group to perform on the Tonight Show with Jay Leno. You know what I'm saying? Like that's huge. You know what
That's
I'm saying?
big.
Like
That's
just as
big.
far as just advancing the culture. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I got fond memories. Not to even cut y'all short, but I gotta get ready to slap in the crib, man. And I got a table of people for me to eat, and they all looking at me like, "Come on, man." But I appreciate y'all letting me hang out with y'all for a little bit, and just tell y'all a little bit about the past and what's going on now. Everybody's on the lookout for this D&D project, which is Dilla and Dres, and check me out at poolofgenius.com or Black Sheep Dres on IG.
All right, that's what's up, man. We appreciate you coming on, sharing your time,
All
and
right.
reminiscing with us, man. We appreciate it. Anytime you need any promotion with anything, just let us know. We'll help you out.
Appreciate you, fellas. Yo, y'all have a good night, man. Be
All right,
safe.
you too.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Peace.
Peace. Knowledge.
Yo, so we had a good joint, you know what I'm saying? And then we definitely want to, reach out. There's still a lot of things in the works. You see what I'm saying? Shout out to you, Psych, for coming through and collaborating. And we want to continue to build this. Yeah. So you'll see some more vintage, some more, hip hop, people that's coming through. Yeah, we still working with some other people just to confirm some dates and times. So y'all see some more, you know, hip hop folks. So we'll be doing this hip hop lane together, and also some runbacks. So I get a chance to get some do overs. You know what I'm saying? With Psycho here on the case. You understand what I'm saying? So we're we'll be. Yeah, shout out to you. It's like shout out your platform. Shout out everything where everybody can find you before we get up out of here.
Oh yeah, well you can catch me on multiple platforms. For this, you can catch me on the Hip Hop Psycho, spelt the same way on the screen. Y'all can scream at me over there. A lot of old school themes, hip hop going on over there. So yeah, if you're into old school hip hop, that's the place you need to be. Scream at me.
All right, fam. We out of here. Peace to everybody. We'll be back later on.